Hey, all you space cats. Welcome to the Black Hole Podcast, Season 8, Episode 2. I'm your host, Mitch Miller, the most neutral human being in the world, the most transparent candidate on any ballot, and the most underground artist in the universe. So I'm challenging the NSA to a non-lethal duel. That's right, the National Security Agency, Central Security Service. I, Mitchell Miller, challenge every agent, contractor, operator, and employee all the way up to the director to a non-lethal duel. Using non-lethal dueling pistols, swords, or a scholastic wrestling match. Now, I've suggested that we establish a code of honor when it comes to conflict resolution. We used to have it. We lived under 100 years of corporate communist rule and got away from it to a high degree. That's why we have deadly war and things like that. We can end all deadly war. I've written a whole peace treaty about it. It's on multiple websites I field. End all deadly war with non-lethal duels. And this code of honor involves matching equal experience levels, especially when it comes to mechanical weapons like pistols and swords. And most people had the opportunity in the United States to take up scholastic wrestling for very little cost, so I don't feel bad about challenging most people in the United States to a scholastic wrestling match. Now, my experience on pistols, I've maybe fired 500 rounds through a pistol in my lifetime, and I haven't been able to own a firearm since 2011. And I have zero experience fencing or using swords. So we're probably best matched in a scholastic wrestling match. Your hand-to-hand martial arts combat skills versus my scholastic wrestling. My terms are, if I win the duel, you must use your influence and resources to make the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation of the United States, entirely female. Every agent, contractor, operator, employee of the FBI would be female. We would transition the workforce to female employees. I believe this is important to bring equality to the playing field, to the battlefield globally, and bring equality between men and women around the world, which should be the goal of any modern civilization. All right, so I said on the previous episode I would talk about ideas for mayor of Pittsburgh and ideas for president. Today I'm not going to do the president necessarily. I would do it as president, but I'm going to talk about Secretary of Treasury. But first, my ideas for mayor of Pittsburgh, right? I'm running for mayor of Pittsburgh. I'm a neutral, independent, transparent candidate. So I'm neutral. I believe in direct democracy. That means all political appointments that I would make as mayor of Pittsburgh will be voted on by the residents of the city of Pittsburgh. We'll put out a citywide vote for all political appointees. This means that different positions filled in the city that the mayor chooses or gets to steer could be Republicans, they could be Democrats, they could be independent, whatever the popular vote is, that's what it'll be. So it means that all appointed officials are going to be placed on a merit basis, not based on political favors, right? One party gets voted in, they stick to the party lines, and they make backroom deals and do political favors. We're not doing that with Mitch Miller. You're not going to get that. It's going to be popular vote. You can research the candidates, and it's all going to be based on merits. Another thing I would do as mayor of Pittsburgh, address the traffic, right? Everyone hates traffic. I know it's an easy issue. So what I would do is mandate that all construction affecting the roads must be during non rush hour. We'll say 7 to 9 a.m. and 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. So all construction companies, all contractors, they cannot block the roads in any way during these hours on weekdays, Monday through Friday. There's plenty of things. I've worked construction, I've worked things, there's plenty of things you can do. They can still have your workers show up at 7, have your safety meetings. They can stage the cones out next to the road, get everything ready so that right at 9 a.m. you can jump on the road and start getting it knocked out, right? And this is just going to cause construction companies to adjust to furlough workers. Say you have a project that you're trying to finish up and it gets to be 3:30 rush hour, you have to reopen the road and furlough your workers for 2 hours and then pay them overtime after 5:30, after rush hour, to finish up the job in the evening, right? It's going to cause a readjustment of how contractors do things, but it's going to help with the traffic, and it's an environmental benefit as well. It's especially the annoyance level of trying to navigate all of the road construction around a major metropolitan city. We're also going to partner with a technology mapping company, right? Now I know the city has some mapping. We're going to either use the existing mapping strategies of the city of Pittsburgh or partner with a new company to create a city map platform. Contractors, when they show up in the morning or a week ahead of time, they must update the map and show what streets are going to be being paved, what streets are going to be shut down, to what degree they're being shut down, how many lanes they are. All this information is going to be available on a searchable map. Anyone in Pittsburgh or hypothetically anywhere can log in and see the daily construction and maybe plot their commute and see if there's going to be any delays through this map. We're not going to rely on the big companies mapping because they're always off, right? They never estimate the right amount of time when you do this. So we're going to have our own city mapping. I think doing it city by city. This will allow us to organize things and see and make sure we're not shutting down all the routes leading in or out of the city on one side or the other, right? So say there's construction on the east end, we're gonna make sure that there's not projects that are shutting down Salzburg Road, Penn Avenue, and Frankstown Road all in the same day at the same time. Then you can't get out of the east end of Pittsburgh, right? And I've had this happen to me commuting to Plum to the embroidery shop, where I went 3 different routes. All of them had construction. There should be better organization at the city level to make sure that this doesn't happen, okay? So the frustration level is going to come down if I'm voted mayor. So those are just a few ideas I'm throwing out there. Now we're moving on to Secretary of Treasury. I said that the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States should be a voted on position. It should be a popular vote. I at one point said I was running for Secretary of Treasury, and here's what I would do as Secretary of Treasury or President of the United States. I would introduce an electronic currency. They call this an e-currency through the Treasury, backed by the federal government, right? The primary purpose of this currency and this platform for currency is to help small businesses, to even the playing field for small business and to promote small business in the United States of America. So this currency would allow small businesses to do transactions without a credit card transaction fee, right? The standard credit card transaction fee is 3%. A lot of businesses pass this on. They have a different price for cash, a price if you run a card. So the large corporations, they still pay a 3% fee. to pay for the platform. But the idea here is that this will be a revenue neutral platform, whether we develop our own Treasury card swipers or point of sale systems to give to small businesses. We're going to be revenue neutral. We're going to expose how much banks make off these 3% fees, how much they profit by offering this free to small businesses. But the large corporations, it's in their best interest too to see how much these banks make off of these fees. We're going to go revenue neutral. So after a year or two, we're going to be able to make public, hey, we can secure our point of sale network and operate it, transactions, all the data, all the experts we need, the whole country, just as large as Visa or MasterCard. We're able to do this for a 0.25% fee instead of a 3% fee, right? So it'll be revenue neutral. That's what we'll charge the large corporations. Instead of the 3% per transaction that they absorb into their costs, we're going to just charge 0.25% to run the system. Small business and businesses under 50 employees will always be free for all their transactions. That's what that's what the United States Treasury offers to small businesses in this country to help them grow, to help them sustain their business. That's the backbone of America. We're also going to create an online portal where small businesses can sell stock, right? Incorporating, going public in a stock market, it all costs money, lawyers and stuff like that. We're going to make this very easy. You can incorporate through the platform. You can word your ownership however you want through the platform and offer stock through the Treasury platform for small businesses. Small businesses only, businesses under 50 employees can offer stock to raise money. They can upload appraisals of their assets, their equipment, to show how much assets they have before people invest in them. They'll have a profile. They can explain their experience as a small business owner, their goals, and things like that. We're going to make it very easy for small business to raise money, and it's only for 50 employees or less, right? So that's another aspect of this e-currency rollout from the United States Treasury. The other thing we're going to do with this e-currency, this electronic currency, and this I believe is the only way that a nuclear-capable nation should roll out an electronic currency, is we're going to tie the e-currency to spent nuclear fuel, right? It'll be like the gold standard. The paper currency in the United States used to be on a paper and coin currency in the United States used to be on the gold standard until the Federal Reserve moved us off of the gold standard so that they could seize more control and power over the United States. So this is the new strategy with e-currency. We're going to link it to spent nuclear fuel. Companies already paid to store this volatile fuel and to protect it, to guard it. We pay to guard it, protect it, and store it, and the government subsidizes that. We're going to use some of that money to go towards the e-currency to make the whole process of storing and protecting and everything have value. So only so much e-currency is tied to each unit of nuclear fuel. We'll figure that out. We'll have forums. We'll have votes. Some money of the generated from the e-currency rollout each year will be set aside as a prize for those that can find a way to neutralize spent nuclear fuel or to use it in some other way. Right? So a team of scientists could win a large multi-million-dollar prize for figuring out how to neutralize spent nuclear fuel. So the only way we go off of the nuclear fuel standard, like the gold standard, The only way we go off the nuclear fuel standard for our e-currency, the only way our e-currency isn't backed by equal parts of spent nuclear fuel, is if the United States paper and coin currency goes back to the gold standard. If it goes back to the gold standard, then we can detach the e-currency from the nuclear fuel standard and figure out different ways, like the Fed has been doing for many years, to stabilize our economy using the e-currency if more of the population transitions to that. So we go back to the gold standard for our paper and coin currency. I believe this creates a strong treasury, a strong economy, a strong nation. And it makes sense to tie currency to precious metals, to hypothetically precious fuel that can bring us to a carbon neutral status globally. So I think this is a good concept. I think this is a good idea. So that's what I would do as Secretary of Treasury, or another idea as President of the United States. Unicyclist, unite, night. Okay, so I started riding a unicycle to help with balance for my wrestling career. We all came to unicycles for our own reason. We all learned how to ride a unicycle for our own reasons. But I'm reaching out to unicyclists. Okay? If you know how to unicycle, reach out to me through Buzzsprout, through this podcast platform. And I will, when I come up with the money, I'm on a shoestring budget now, but when I get paid, depending on how many people respond to this, I will send you a free Make Duels Not War t-shirt. It says Make Duels Not War on the front. It's got 2 dueling pistols crossing each other. On the back, it'll have my 6 websites: Mitch, 4mayor.com, almavoter.com, trafnet.org, plotm.com, theduel.us, and then my podcast website, buzzsprout.com/359015. That'll all be on the back of it. So check those out to make sure you line up with some of the ideas on those websites. You will also receive a hat that says Mitch, 4mayor.com, embroidered. So send me your color ideas for the shirts, any specific environmentally friendly shirts you want. So a brand and a color, the screen printing of the duels.war and websites, I think we'll just stick with white ink for that. And a color of hat and thread color combo. I'll compile these. We'll just go through compiling phase. If this doesn't happen by the mayoral race, we'll still keep the websites up to run for president or treasury or whatever. So I'll compile the color combos and find the most popular ones, the most popular shirt. And then if you respond, you'll go on a list, and in order, I'll send these to you. If you disclose your address, we can exchange emails and talk about this. And the idea is hopefully you'll wear this combo when you're unicycling a couple times around your neighborhood. Maybe you'll get in a parade somewhere. This is not just for Pittsburgh, it's for the entire United States. These websites are live, and I'm trying to promote them. So I thought unicycling is a good idea. So I hope you consider reaching out. And thanks for listening to the podcast. Until next time, I wish you peace, prosperity, and homeostasis.